So let's talk about one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite books, and this talks about the power now, but practicing the power now. So it's a shorter, more stripped down book that gets you into the core principles. I would recommend reading the original book or listen to the audiobook, then coming back to this, and then we can start diving into cover like in the original book they cover things like clock time, um, talk about just trying to be as present as you possibly can, and then the general principle of that is you're trying to just be present in this moment, and that's all that really matters. And there will be times where you have to use clock time and go think about things in the future, potentially deal with things in your past, but you're trying to not. If you're in the past thinking about things, you're kind of depressed, and you're thinking about the future, you're more anxious. That's typically me. So being able to be more present and more centered um, helped me tremendously in my business world, my personal life, um, friends, family, at home. Just being present in that moment helped a ton. So I'm going to read just a couple things that kind of caught my attention with this. There's a bunch of those in here that they go through, but the beginning of freedom is a realization you are not the possessing entity. The thinker knowing this enables you to observe the entity. The moment you start watching the thinker at a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. So, like, just kind of being present, and like you'll notice that like you'll think about things, inspire about things, but if you can get like a half second or half degree of separation, kind of observe the thinker thinking. This gets kind of weird and woo-y, but I think the only works you can kind of see what's going on there. You just kind of observe what's going on as far as that goes. Um, you begin to realize that there's a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought, and that is only a tiny aspect of intelligence. You realize that all the things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, and peace, arise from being beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. So the mind is a powerful and great device, but the mind can also, as he mentions in the original Power Now, created the atom bomb. And we don't need the atom bomb, right? So like use it and then put it down and just kind of be at peace, being in the moment. You don't always have to be using your brain. And when you start seeing your brain spinning all the time, that's when you need to kind of take a step back and observe it and see what's going on. Um, another, this is specifically talking mind in this specific section. Freeing yourself from your mind. The good news is that you can free yourself from your mind. This is the only true liberation. You could take the first step right now. Start listening to your voice in your head as often as you can. Pay particular attention to any repetitive thought patterns. Those old audio tapes that have been playing in your head perhaps for years. This is what I mean by watching the thinker, which is another way of saying listening to the voice in your head. Be there with it. Be there when and be present. When you listen to the voice, listen to it in particularly that it is to say, do not judge. Do not judge or condemn what you hear, for doing so means you let the same voice come right back into the back door. You soon realize the sooner you realize there's a voice here, I'm listening to it, watching it. This is I'm realization that this sense of your own presence is not thought. It arises from beyond the mind. So when you listen to a thought, you're not aware of not only the thought, but also yourself as a witness to the thought. A new dimension of consciousness can come in. So if you catch yourself spiraling, thinking about things, just kind of observing its repetitive patterns, you can start kind of observing and see what's going on and make changes from there. So I just left you with a small little passage of this. There's pages and pages and pages of this. Um, you can listen to the original Power Now and then come back through this book if you wanted to use as like a study guide and kind of dive deeper in. That's how I use this book specifically.